The NRL November 1st deadline is the closest thing rugby league has to a Wild West gold rush, acting as the starting gun for a frantic recruitment cycle that begins the moment the clock strikes midnight on November 1st, 2026. While the 2027 season may seem distant, this date represents a seismic shift in power dynamics, as elite players with only 12 months remaining on their contracts become legally eligible to field rival offers for the following year. This is the period where one-club hero narratives are tested against the lure of massive career-defining paydays, and where a single superstar halfback signature can trigger a league-wide game of musical chairs. For fans, it is a high-stakes drama of what-if scenarios played out in secret lunch meetings, and for clubs, it is a brutal chess match where rosters are built or broken. As backroom deals and salary cap maneuvering take center stage, the 2026 negotiation window is set to be the most explosive and expensive in the history of the sport, fundamentally reshaping the NRL landscape for years to come. Starting with the crown jewel of the Penrith dynasty, Nathan Cleary is the game's most influential general, and despite every rival club dreaming of a heist, there's a high % chance he remains at the foot of the mountains given his deep family ties. However, there is a small % chance he departs for the Super League to be closer to his partner, Mary Fowler, as Hull FC have officially tabled a record 4-year contract offer worth £1 million per season. This landmark deal, valued at approximately $2 million Australian annually, may potentially make him the first $2 million player in rugby league history. Next we have the electric Reece Walsh, who remains the face of the Broncos marketing machine, and may potentially stay at Red Hill on a record-breaking deal that reflects his status as the NRL's premier entertainer. Walsh is the heartbeat of Brisbane's attack and a massive ratings draw, making him a priority for the front office. While his market value would be astronomical on the open market, his comfort in Queensland and his central role in the Broncos' premiership ambitions suggest that he may potentially shun rival offers to remain the king of Suncorp Stadium. Moving to the veteran class, the mercurial Cameron Munster enters a fascinating career crossroads, where he may potentially finish as a Melbourne legend, or finally succumb to a massive homecoming offer from a Queensland rival, or the Perth Bears. By late 2026, Munster will be considering his final major contract. The Storm have a history of retaining their stars, but the lure of returning to his roots, potentially with the Dolphins or a second Brisbane team, could be the deciding factor in whether he prioritises one last title run or financial security. Shifting to the foundation clubs, Latrell Mitchell remains the spiritual heart of South Sydney and may potentially stay at Redfern, where he has built a powerful cultural legacy that outweighs any external paycheck. Latrell is more than just a player for the Rabbitohs, he is a community leader and the face of the club's identity. While he is often a target for media speculation, his loyalty to the borough is profound, and he is likely to remain at Souths and continue leading the Rabbitohs alongside his new superstar teammate, Payne Haas. Looking at the Hunter, Kalyn Ponga has largely struggled to live up to the massive hype that accompanied his price tag, and he may potentially leave, as persistent rumours link him to the Sydney Roosters. With James Tedesco likely to retire as a Rooster at the end of 2027, the club is reportedly viewing Ponga as the perfect marquee replacement once the captain hangs up the boots. After failing to deliver a premiership to Newcastle, Ponga may potentially find the allure of a star-studded Tricolours roster impossible to ignore. Adding to the Bondi exodus, utility star Connor Watson may potentially leave the club, having already been given full permission by the Roosters to discuss terms with rival teams. As the Tricolours tighten their belt for a new era, Watson's versatility makes him an immediate target for clubs seeking a high-energy hooker or ball-playing lock. With the green light to negotiate early, he is among the most certain to find a new home before the 2027 season even kicks off. Down at the seaside, the hammer, Hamiso Tabuai Fido, may potentially move to the Brisbane Broncos as a marquee centre, as Gehamat Shibasaki prepares to field huge rival offers. With Payne Haas departing for South Sydney, the Broncos suddenly have the significant cap space needed to lure the Dolphins star back across town. Since Reece Walsh has the #1 jersey locked down, the Hammer's elite speed and footwork may potentially be weaponised in the centres, creating the most dangerous outside back pairing in the NRL. In a potential shock move, Penrith's defensive heartbeat, Isaiah Yeo, may potentially move as he enters his own twilight years and looks to secure one final massive payday. While he is a club legend, the financial lure of becoming the inaugural marquee signing for the PNG Chiefs, or leading the Perth Bears engine room, might be too great to ignore. With Penrith facing a major salary cap squeeze to keep their younger stars, Yeo may potentially decide that his work at the foot of the mountains is done, opting to finish his career as a highly paid face of a new frontier. Across the Tasman, Warriors playmaker Tanner Boyd may potentially move to secure a major payday, with his current scintillating form making him a primary target for the Perth Bears, who are desperate for a marquee halfback to lead their 2027 debut. With the Warriors boasting a logjam of young talent like Jet Cleary and Harry Inch, pushing for first-grade opportunities, Boyd may potentially use this window to capitalise on his peak value. While he has been dominant in the early rounds of 2026, the emergence of the next generation at the Warriors could see him test the open market to establish himself as the undisputed general of a new expansion franchise. On the wings, the powerhouse Brian To'o remains a priority for the Panthers and may potentially stay, given his irreplaceable role in their yardage game and his tight bond with the squad. To'o is the emotional glue of the Penrith backline, and while other clubs would pay a premium for his finishing ability, I doubt he'll leave the system that made him arguably the greatest winger of all time. Regarding the representative stars, Valentine Holmes may potentially move back to a Brisbane-based club to finish off his illustrious career after his stint with the Dragons. As a Townsville product who has played for the Maroons for years, Holmes has often been linked with a return to southeast Queensland to be closer to family. Whether joining the Broncos or the Dolphins, his elite goal-kicking and experience may potentially be the final piece of the puzzle for a Brisbane contender looking for veteran leadership in the outside backs. In Melbourne, the Storm face a massive battle to keep Harry Grant. Grant is the premier hooker in the competition and may potentially be the #1 target for any club lacking a spine leader. While he is critical to Melbourne's future, the lure of returning to Queensland to lead a rival pack may potentially be the catalyst for the biggest positional shift in the market. In the forward pack, the Bulldogs' boom rookie, Jacob Preston, is likely to stay at Belmore after becoming the face of their hard-nosed rebuild and defensive grit. Preston has established himself as a future captain and the type of player Phil Gould wants to build a culture around. While rival powerhouse clubs often poach young back rowers of his caliber, the Bulldogs' recent trajectory and willingness to offer long-term security may potentially result in him signing a massive extension to remain a cornerstone of the blue and white. Finally, the versatile Matt Burton remains the most intriguing wildcard, who may potentially move if the Bulldogs haven't transitioned into a consistent top-4 powerhouse by the time his negotiation window opens. Burton possesses a world-class kicking game and rare utility value, making him a primary target for clubs desperate for a marquee playmaker. If Canterbury's rebuild hasn't yielded deep finals appearances by 2027, he may potentially see the lure of joining an established premiership contender as the right move to test his true worth. Should players secure their financial gains over club pride? Please let me know your honest opinion in the comments. Stay updated on YouTube with all your rugby league content by smashing the like button and subscribing to the channel for more of your daily dose of rugby league. Thank you.